Hey Realtors, in this video, I'm going to be showing you an actual demo that we sent off to a client of ours, explaining how an AI lead qualification system integrated into their business will actually help them convert more leads. We're not going to go into the super technical aspects of it, so don't worry if you're not a techie person. We're going to be looking at the overview of how the system works, what type of AI agents are actually involved in the system itself, and how all of it is working together to qualify your leads that are coming in, whether it's from Facebook ads or Google ads or just organic SEO. Again, this is an actual demo that we built for one of our clients, so you'll see what it looks like firsthand. You're going to see how the actual conversation looks inside of your text messages and what it's doing on the back end in order to qualify these leads for you. Before we begin, hi, my name is Brandon. I'm a real estate agent here in Canada, and I'm also an AI consultant to other real estate agents, as well as run my own AI development agency where we build custom AI solutions for real estate agents just like you. I've been building with AI for over 2 years now, and I've been a real estate agent for over 7 years now, so I feel like I'm pretty qualified to talk about how all these different tools and systems can work inside of your real estate business to optimize it, make it run more efficient, and basically just to automate as much as you possibly can. So if you're a real estate agent interested in learning how to use AI to automate their business, click that subscribe button so that you get notified every time I post a new video. Okay, that's my introduction. Now let's get back into the video. So before we hop into the demo, I'm going to give you a quick rundown of what this actual system is that we were proposing to this client. So this client reached out to us because they have a lot of leads coming in, but the problem is they have too many leads coming in that it's starting to bog down the agents on their team. Most of their leads were coming from digital, which means that it's not always the highest quality leads, but you are getting high volume, but that requires a lot of time and energy from the real estate agents to follow up with these leads, qualify them, and continuously stay in touch with them. Over time, the real estate agents started to get frustrated and either not reach out to these leads or maybe only follow up with them once or twice and then just kind of throw them in the garbage. So they reached out to us to see if AI could do some of this lead qualifying for them to help relieve some of that workload off of their team. So what we pitched them is an AI qualifying system that basically takes any new leads that come into their funnel and then reaches out to them and starts having a conversation with them to figure out if they are a good lead, if they're qualified or not, and just start collecting some more information about their search criteria or the property that they're looking to sell. So for example, let's say the lead came off of a Facebook ad, the AI would reach out to the lead and start asking them about their search criteria, their time frame, whether or not they're pre-approved, all the questions that the realtor would normally be picking up the phone to ask. But now the AI is doing it for them in a natural human-like way, which when you compound this over all of the leads that they're bringing in, it makes their qualifying process way more efficient because the AI is doing everything for them in the background. And the only time that the realtor then has to pick up the phone is when that lead is fully qualified and ready to go. So now their team is only spending their time on the leads that are ready to move forward. So to build something like this, you would need to use a few different tech platforms. You would need some sort of automation platform like Make.com or Zapier. You need some sort of place to hold your database. I prefer Airtable. You could use Google Sheets or something else. And then of course, you're going to need the platform to actually build the AI agents in, which we use N8N. And inside of N8N, we have built an actual team of 4 different AI agents that all work in tandem together to qualify these leads, which I'll show you more about in the actual demo. We use Twilio for the phone number and texting back and forth, and then a few other platforms and API integrations here and there for things like searching MLSs and getting live real estate data. Now, obviously you can see right away what the benefit of a system like this would be, especially if you have a high flow of leads coming in. Usually for a system like this, we also add on the digital marketing side of it. So our team will actually run the Facebook ads or the Google ads for you and set up the entire funnel from start to finish, and then connect the AI agent on the back end. So you don't have to do anything other than just receive the leads. But anyways, that's enough explaining. Let's hop into the demo video so you can see what it actually looks like. So let's run through a quick demo here showing how our AI lead qualifying system works. So real quick, we're going to jump into this diagram and then I'm going to show you what a real conversation with the AI actually looks like. And kind of some of the back end stuff going on. So first, let's just refresh our memory of what a standard lead qualifying process looks like. So this is kind of the standard process that any realtor would have in their business, whether you're generating leads through Facebook ads or organically or whatever it might be. Typically, it starts off with some form of lead generation. So this is like your marketing, maybe you're running ads to a lead form, whatever it is. Then it goes on to collecting that lead's information. So you're collecting their contact info and maybe some search criteria or some property information. So you're collecting that lead information. And then this is where that handoff happens to the realtor, right? So you're taking all that information you just collected, you're giving it off to one of the realtors on your team, or maybe it's to yourself if you're a solo agent. And then it's on you to follow up with the lead and start qualifying them. And this is where things kind of get foggy because, every realtor is different. Sometimes they're on vacation, sometimes they're just slow to reach out to these people, sometimes it gets lost in the inbox. But the problem when you just take that lead information and pass it off to the realtor is it kind of becomes a binary sorting system where the realtor is basically saying, okay, either this is a qualified lead or an unqualified lead. Either it's a good lead or a bad lead. So there's, two boxes that the leads fall into. If it's a good lead, the realtor might try a few times to follow up with them. If it's not a good lead, they're just going to junk it, and that's that. So that's kind of the typical standard lead qualifying process. The problems with this system is it's very slow to respond to leads, right? And in our research, we found that shockingly 48% of agents never even follow up with their leads. So almost half of agents are not even contacting the leads that they're getting in the first place. And if they do, their average response time is about 47 hours. So from the time that maybe their brokerage gives them the lead or the lead comes in via Facebook, it takes them almost 2 days to even reach out to that lead. You can imagine if you're a home buyer or a home seller, when you've reached out to a real estate agent and they don't respond for 2 days, you're probably not even going to respond to them reaching out to you. And like we said, with a system like this, the whole lead conversion system relies on the realtor and their schedule. So this might be you watching the video, or it might be realtors on your team. But when the lead conversion is relying on their schedule, then it becomes really inconsistent and hard to track your lead conversion. Because one week the realtor might be on the ball and messaging right away, and the next week they're not. And it's really hard to tell if the leads that you're generating are good leads or if they're just, not being qualified and followed up with. Another issue with a system like this is there's just inconsistent follow-up and lead classification. So again, in our research, we found that the average agent only follows up with a lead 3 times. So they might message them once, they don't answer, a second time they don't answer, one last time, and after that, they're not going to message them again or email them again. But we also found that 80% of leads are converted on the 5th to 12th follow-up. So if the average agent is only following up 3 times and 80% of leads are typically converted on the 5th to 12th follow-up, that means that basically 80% of those leads are just being wasted because realtors are stopping before they would even get that conversion. And then obviously, because of all of this, you have a much higher rate of lead follow-up, which in turn is going to increase your cost per lead because you're not converting as many leads as you could. So your total ad spend or your total marketing dollars are going to a lower number of leads. So how is our system different? Well, it starts off very similar with lead generation. For us, we like to do Facebook and Instagram ads mostly. So we run those ads and that leads to a form where we collect their information, whether it's a buyer or a seller. We're collecting their contact info and either a few details about their search criteria or maybe their property. From there, instead of passing it off to the realtor, we are then handing it off to our team of AI agents. So we have built a team of 4 separate AI agents that all have different roles and responsibilities, but all work in tandem together to qualify this lead. So the first one is an AI lead updater. Basically what it does is it looks at the messages going back and forth between the lead and it updates its own sort of CRM or its own brain on what information has been collected on the lead and what information still needs to be collected. Then it updates that in its own CRM and then it passes that info off to the AI lead manager. This AI lead manager is in charge of writing a report or a summary on this lead to pass off to the final agent. Next, it goes to an AI MLS agent. So this agent is in charge of answering any sort of real estate related questions. So it is specifically knowledgeable on the real estate market and things like that. So this guy handles any specific real estate questions, like somebody's asking what size of property is or how the market is in a certain area. Then all of that information from the last 3 are passed off to the final lead qualifier agent. And this guy is in charge of actually writing the response back to the user. So it takes all the information that the other AIs has collected and then it crafts the perfect response. From there, it's going to be classifying the lead, right? So instead of the 2 categories like we saw in the standard qualifying process of either qualified or unqualified, it's putting it into 4 different buckets. So we have fully qualified leads. These are obviously ones that we have collected lots of information on, we've had a full conversation with, and we have, all of the check boxes checked off that we want to. There's also the needs follow-up. This means that, the person either still needs to answer some questions or we don't have full information on them. So we still need to keep talking to them and following up with them. There is needs long-term nurturing. So this could be a lead that maybe is not ready to buy yet or not ready to sell. Maybe they want to buy 12 months from now. So we're going to put them on a long-term nurturing plan via email. And then we have unqualified. This might be, spam bots, or it might be somebody who lives across the world who's not looking to actually buy. Whatever it might be, these are unqualified leads. Those ones we just removed from the list completely. Now for the fully qualified leads, this is where we actually send over all that info to the agent. So we say, hey, you have a fully qualified lead. Here's all the information. Reach out to them, or put together a property list for them, whatever the objective is. And then we also update the agent's actual CRM. So whether it's KV Core or Lofty or Follow Up Boss, we add all that lead information into your CRM as well. So the benefits of a system like this, you're going to retain way more leads because now those leads are being properly classified. So rather than before where maybe the agent was junking the leads that needed some more follow-up or they needed long-term nurturing, now you're retaining those leads and putting them on a long-term plan. You're also increasing agent productivity. So whether it's you, the solo agent, or agents on your team, you're increasing the productivity because the only time that they have to spend on leads now is the ones that are fully qualified. The AI is handling the rest. They only have to reach out to the ones that we have collected all the necessary information on, so they know that if they're picking up the phone to call a lead, that lead is ready to go. You're going to convert more leads faster, right? So we found in our research that leads that are responded to within 1 minute are 391% more likely to convert. So that's almost 4 times the likelihood of converting that lead if you respond within 1 minute. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't know any real estate agent on earth that can constantly respond to their leads within 1 minute, but that's the beauty of AI. It responds instantly and 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, never takes a day off. So that is a huge benefit that AI has over, let's say, a human. You're also going to lower your cost per lead. We estimate about a 50% reduction in cost per lead because you're retaining more of those leads and converting more of them. And like I said, the big benefit here is you have instant speed to lead running 24 hours a day. So if somebody messages you at 4 in the morning, the AI is going to respond and handle it for you. And you can think of, in the scenario, someone's laying in bed and they message 5 different agents. You're responding immediately. The other 4 aren't responding until the next morning or maybe even 2 days from now. So you've already captured their attention way quicker than all the other realtors. So what does this look like in practice? Let's look at a conversation here that we had. So basically how something like this would work as an example is we'd run a Facebook ad, and that ad would lead to, let's say, a landing page or a form where people would start filling out information, their name, their contact info, some search criteria, things like that. So it'd be a form just like this, and they would go along, just start filling out some info, a typical lead form. That information, once they submit it, then gets sent to the AI's CRM. So we have this database where the AI is constantly checking to see if there's any new leads coming in and what information we have on them. So this information gets added into here. And then if there's any blank boxes, this one is full for now because it's the example, but any blank boxes here, like if we don't know the number of bedrooms they want or bathrooms, that's the cue for the AI to ask those questions. So if we look at the conversation, the first message that it sent was, "Hey Brandon, my name is John with Legacy Group International. I just received your home search criteria and we'll get started on putting together a list of suitable properties for you right away. I just wanted to double check, what's your timeline for purchasing your next home?" So first question that it asked right off the bat was my timeline. So I said, "Hey John, I'm looking to move into something in the next 60 days. It said, "Okay, thanks for letting me know your timeline. Are you already pre-approved for a mortgage or would you like help with that process?" "Yes, I was pre-approved." Great. To help narrow down the home for you, what features are must-haves?" So it's asking about my must-haves. I said, "I have a large dog, so I need a fenced yard." Then it's asking for any additional features that I'd like to see in the home. I said, "I'd love a garage, but it's not a must." So it's just having a natural conversation with me here while knowing in the back of its AI brain that there's certain checkboxes it needs to check off. So therefore that's the questions that it's going to ask. So then it says, "Perfect, I'll add a garage as a nice have to your feature list. Is there anything else important you'd like me to know about?" I said, "No, that's it." And then it ends it off with saying, "Perfect, I'll pass this information to our team and we'll put together a list of properties that match your criteria. We'll email that over to you with my email that I inputted into the lead form. And then let me know if you need anything else." So it put in all this information here. You can see fenced yard, would love a garage, pre-approval is yes, time frame is the next 60 days. So put in all this information here. And then we're also tracking the entire conversation that we're having with that person. So this is how the AI is training and getting better all the time. This is what makes an AI agent different than just a chatbot, is it's learning from its conversations all the time. It has a history or a memory of the entire conversation so that it improves constantly, it gets better, and it can also go back and find information. So if the person messages 5 days later, it has that knowledge of the entire conversation that it had, and it can see, based off everything that we've tracked, every single message that's been said. So we have all that data for every single lead that's coming in, and then once we've collected all that information, it's gonna send that email off to the agent saying you have a new qualified lead. So this is what that looks like. Hey Brandon, your AI assistant has fully qualified a new buyer lead for you. Here's their information. So it gives me all their info. It's looking for a townhome, south or southwest, 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 700K budget, next 60 days. So it gave me all this information here, and then it also adds it to my CRM so that I can go back at any time and look at that. And you can imagine a system like this running 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. So it's just this fully encompassing system that we run the Facebook ads, generate the leads, fully qualify the leads, then send them back to you or an agent on your team. And it's just this closed loop of super powerful leads that's constantly being generated all the time. So no longer do you have to rely on the realtors on your team to reach out to these leads and do their follow-ups. Or if you're a solo agent, you don't have to take up hours in your day trying to follow up with all these leads coming in. Just let the AI do it for you, do it in the background, and it will let you know when somebody is ready to move forward, and it's collected all the information for you. So you don't have to really do a thing other than sending them an email with a list of properties and saying which ones are we going to go view. So it saves everybody a ton of time, increases your conversion rate, lowers your cost per lead, and overall just optimizes your entire system for a much more efficient way of generating leads. So there you have it, guys. That's an overview of what an AI lead qualification system would look like inside of your business. Hopefully this video gave you a bit of clarification on how you could use AI to qualify your leads and just take that workload off of your plate. I know I didn't really go in depth on how to actually build the specific AI agents and N8N and Make.com and all that kind of stuff, because I wanted this to just be an overview so that people who are not really tech forward or don't know how to use these platforms could still follow along and see how these systems would work inside of their business. But if you are wanting to learn how to actually build these specific systems, or even how to use platforms like N8N and Make.com inside of your real estate business, I am building an online community/course where I'm going to be teaching you how to build all of these systems that I talk about in my videos, how to use these platforms, and how to basically automate as much as you possibly can inside of your real estate business. The community is still in the works. I'm currently filming the final modules, so I have a link in my description below where you can sign up to be on the waitlist, and you'll get notified as soon as the community launches. The first 100 people that sign up for the community are going to get locked in early bird pricing, and I'm also actually going to be sending you my templates so that you can just drop them straight into these platforms rather than having to build them yourself. So if learning how to build all these things is something that you're interested in, then click the link in my description and join the waitlist for this community. If you're not wanting to build the stuff yourself, but you are wanting to get something like this built for you in your business, there's also a link below where you can book a call with me and my team. We can talk about all the different ways that we can automate things inside of your business and integrate AI. And at the very least, you'll leave the call with some great ideas and just more clarification on AI in general. So thanks again for watching, guys. I really appreciate the support. Again, if you're not already following me, click that subscribe button below so that you can get notified of all of my new videos. My goal is to teach as many real estate agents as I possibly can about how to use AI, what is happening with AI, and how it's going to impact our business as real estate agents. So thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.